So let's make a start. It's 2 past. As I said, my name's Matt. I'm from Network Optix. We also have Joel on as well. He's also from Network Optix. And I think Ryan's going to be jumping in and out as well. He's just doing a few things in the back end as well. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come along and see what we've got to offer. Let's make a start. All right, so that's just giving you a brief overview of what we're going to go through today. So 5.0 is, obviously we've changed the first number, which generally designates it a pretty large update, and we think it's a pretty good one. In our opinion, it's got some amazing features in it to make it really cool for management of the overall system, but also the ability to do, to make searching and finding events that much easier. We had a first question come in from Ashley. Every activation type we have 4 different rules configuration. So what Ashley's asked, and that's the first one, he's asked, is it possible to do custom rules, templates, profiles to speed up configuration where having one rule to trigger the next rule? So that is actually something that we get asked quite a bit, Ashley, and we are doing that in a update coming. So what we're calling it is, if and or. So you could have multiple rules set up on the same thing. So we are doing that. Actually, that is an upcoming update. So I'm not sure if it's 5.1 or 5.2, but we have actually done that one, and it will be in one of our upcoming updates. All right, so here's an overview of what we've got in this update. Advanced object search, so ability to search through the analytics of your camera or third-party analytics that you're using. Metadata-driven recording schedule. So basically what that means is rather than just searching, recording via motion and event, ability to record via specific objects. Web page proxy servers, resource grouping, audio mapping, specifically for our police friends in uniform. Server admin interface redesign, video preview, server location ID for failover, enhanced fisheye dewarping, and desktop client automatic updates. There's some more stuff, but this is really the main stuff that we're going to go through. So first thing that we've got is ability to search for specific objects inside NX Witness. Now, obviously, as per usual, NX Witness is not doing the analytics. We're grabbing the analytics from either the camera or from the third-party analytic. And what we're doing is we're recognizing what those analytics are and giving you the ability to search through those analytics inside NX Witness rather than using the third-party search tool, whatever you're using. So as you can see here, on this particular camera, it has the ability to search for bike, bus, car, truck, and colors and all those sorts of things built into it. So it doesn't matter what the criteria is built into that particular system. We're giving the ability to do that search. For any of you that were at ASIAL, we were using the Axis cameras, or we were using hardware cameras or using another third-party analytic and giving you the ability to search through whatever they had inside NX Witness. One of them had backpack search as an example, mobile phone search. All those search tools, just basically appear here and part of the the analytic search tool. It's a great feature. How it works, so I'll show you here.
We're going to learn about advanced object search. Very easy to use, very cool new feature in version 5.0. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and go to your home screen here, right? Click on a camera that has analytics. It could be from either a third-party plugin, Metadata SDK, or it could be a native camera to support in-camera analytics 4.
Hang on 2 seconds. I've just been told the audio is bad. I'll see if I can turn that up. Two seconds, guys.
We're going to learn about advanced object search. Very easy to use, very cool new feature in version 5.0. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and go to your home screen here, right? Click on a camera that has analytics on it. It could be from either a third-party plugin using the Metadata SDK, or it could be a native camera. We support in-camera analytics 4. In this case, we click on here, you see this object icon. It's going to force the objects in the screen start to be displayed, assuming there's a protected object on the screen. And then it's also going to bring up the object tab here on the right. You can get to that here as well by going to objects on the right here.
Hang on 2 seconds, guys. We're just having a bit of an audio issue here. Audio is rubbish. We need to fix that. It's got to be a way to sharing, stop sharing screen, present settings, recording audio. That's really annoying. Sounds like my microphone's causing feedback. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk you through it. It's heaps easier. So I'll just mute the audio from here and just go through it myself, which is the easier way to do it. Oops, hang on 2 seconds. Okay. Advanced search. So I'm going to mute this and talk you through it. It's heaps easier. So what he's doing here is basically showing how to actually set up and how to use the advanced search feature. So basically what you do is you grab your camera, which he's going to do now. Bring the camera across. And on the right-hand side, we have a new little button, which looks like a little person, which we're designating as advanced search button. So on the right-hand side of the screen there, we've got notifications, motion search. You've got a new tab, which is advanced search button, or it's there as well, object search. So he goes across to advanced search tab over there. And you can see that you can actually bring up people. You could search for specific things. You could search for backpack. You could search for, as he's typed in there, white truck. All those sorts of things are available through the search tab. Or you can click on the advanced search tab and filter it through there as well. So all those search parameters are available in there depending on what's built into the actual camera itself, or depending on what is available as a third-party analytic. So yeah, you can see there, he can search for gray, he can search for white, he can search for whatever he wants depending on what, that's actually a Hanwha camera that he's using for that one. But yeah, depending on what you've got set up is depending on what you can actually search for. Does object low res also record motion? No, object low res does not also record motion. You need to set that up as a separate recording. You need to try doing it two different ways. LPR will definitely work depending on the analytics that you're working with as well. So if you're using an LPR camera, that will definitely work. And you'll be able to search for a license plate and those sorts of things as well. And we did show at ASIL where you could search for license plate, a partial license, a black truck with partial license plate XY as an example. So those sorts of things are completely doable. It's just a matter of having it set up in the analytic and away you go. It's quite funny, we're getting some people saying that analytics is really good, the audio is really good, and some people saying it's bad. Anyway, known issue with object detection with Dahara cameras in version 5, as we had it working in version 4, but it stopped working since updating. So ICT Sydenham, you need to get onto Ryan about that and just find out what version of version 5 you're actually using, because if you're using 35270, that should be working, because we tested it at ASIL and all was working perfectly. Okay, next. Metadata-driven recording configuration. So what this basically is giving you the ability to do, instead of just doing motion plus low res, being able to do other bits and pieces from that as well. Can we export LPR data to a CSV or text formats? Just trying to think. I have to get back to you on that one, Glenn, depending on which LPR data. But yeah, I think we can. I think we can, but I have to double check how you do it. I'll get back to you on that one. So what you can see here is you can actually have specific things that you want to, different ways to record. So you could do object, motion plus motion recording. You can still always do motion plus low res, but you can see there we can now do motion plus object as well, which is what one of the guys was saying before. So yes, you can do that. So these are different ways we're doing recording to give you more flexibility in the way that you're doing the recording. So if we're doing a project at the moment for a heap of car EV charging stations, and they just want to record cars rather than other things. So we've just got that set up for objects only. So rather than just recording trees or people or whatever, it's only recording when it sees the car pull up in front of it, which is a cool thing to be able to do. So Meta-driven archive backup, this is to do with that as well. So what this gives you the ability to do is have a backup drive somewhere. So not just your, now objects can be, Alex has just asked a question, does objects only refer to vehicles and humans? Objects can be anything. It's really to do with what camera or what analytic you're using. Object, like we said, at ASIL we had backpacks as an object and mobile phones. An object can be anything you determine. I've got in my backyard, I've got one of the objects running in my backyard is chickens, and I can search for chickens running around my backyard. Yeah, I'll send you contact detail through soon. ICT Sydenham. So what this is giving you the ability to do is have as a backup just what you consider to be important. So rather than doing a backup of our entire archive, you could do backup of motion, could be objects, video, bookmarks, whatever you want, send to a specific backup drive. And you could record that to whatever you want. So at the moment, we've given you the ability to just designate specific drives as backup only, and that drive could be a NAS, it could be whatever you want, really. Could metadata objects be recorded to cloud storage? Yes, they could. We don't have cloud storage, so you'd have to organize cloud storage through someone like Wasabi or something like that, but that's easily doable. So basically what we're doing is we're giving you the ability to have this backup of just what you consider to be important rather than the entire archive. So this is obviously, people are starting to ask for cloud storage and that sort of stuff. We're just basically getting ready for the ability to have those cloud storage things. Later on next year, we will launch our own cloud storage in version 5.2. But basically, this is just in the meantime giving you the ability to do backup of objects or whatever you want to a specific drive that you designate. Specific drive for a specific camera. Yeah, so you can actually designate only certain cameras to do backup, or you could do all things, or all cameras, or whatever you want. We're giving you the ability to task that as you see fit. So rather than saying we want every camera to go to backup, you can actually, it's just as you can see here. I'll show you how it actually works here. It works, there's a little video on it. I've got it muted again. I'll just talk you through it again. So to set up backup, he's going to right click eventually. Right click server settings, and you can see there, you can right click or a drop down box on the actual, I'm going to go back to that. You can see there, one of the drives is actually, these just got drop down boxes on them, and you can actually specify whether you want it to be a main drive or a backup drive. So we're giving you the ability to designate just via drop down box to make it nice and simple for people, what sort of drive you want it to be. And then you go to the backup tab. And from there, it's literally, you can see there that once you've done the drop down box, you've basically got the ability to do all archive, motion, objects, bookmarks, motion plus objects, motion plus bookmarks, objects with bookmarks, motion, objects, and bookmarks. And all you have to do to decide whether you want to do that is, it's just a slide across button. We've made this stuff as easy as we possibly can. We try to make stuff as user-friendly and easy as we can to set up, to, so you shouldn't have to. Right, so we got a few questions on this come through already. With this new feature, were the backup including recordings, motion, objects? Where are they, or where the? Francisco, you need to specify that one a bit better. Side question: is there a possibility in the future when cameras move between servers, when servers are merged, online goes off on that, you can change the resolution of the cameras when they transfer to the failover server? That's a different question completely altogether, Alex. Because you can do that in the cloud already, but being able to change the actual resolution of the covers when they switch over to the failover server, you couldn't do it automatically, but you could do it. You can do it with the cloud. So that's the way that you do that in the cloud rather than on the actual server. With this feature, is there a chance of having a player to accompany the backup folder? Just use VLC as your player for that, Francisco. VLC plays it perfectly. Any other questions on metadata-driven back archive? Will the recording of this be sent out? Yeah, definitely. All these videos are already available on YouTube. You can watch them at any time. Just go to Network Optix YouTube channel. We post these videos, but you'll also be able to get a copy of this, which we'll post on our website as well. Metadata event rule. So what we're giving you the ability to do is have specific events that you're looking for, and basically, as you can see here, when it sees a red Tesla and only a red Tesla, show desktop notification. So depending on what analytic that you've got built in, you can actually get specific events to work off that. Now, this is a really cool feature, and the first place we've started using this is a trucking company. So when it sees a particular colored truck, it automatically does a specific rule off that. So when it's looking for an orange truck, open gate automatically without looking for license plates and what sort of stuff. So they don't need to do license plate designation on that. They're just looking for an orange truck. When you can see here, when green truck is detected, send mobile notification to all administrators. Those sorts of things are doable now with this event-based metadata. Now, this is my personal favorite feature of 5.0, web page proxy via server. Now, obviously, with our previous update, you had the ability to bring in the web page of cameras inside NX without port forwarding them. What we've done is basically give the SI the ability, or whoever, the ability to bring in any web page from that site inside NX Witness without port forwarding it. All right, so just back onto the previous one, Tim has asked a question: which brand of cameras that are mid-range have the best object detection, do you think? So I'm going to say this is actually a pretty easy one to answer, Tim. No one brand is better than another. Each brand has things that they're good at. I'll say that. So license plate recognition, as an example, is better on 2 of the brands than it is on all the other brands, in my opinion. And then as far as object stuff goes, it's a hard one to answer because some of the brands do it really well, and some of the brands do some of it well, but not all of it well. Yeah, it is definitely an offline conversation. Feel free to send me an email on that one, and I'll answer that one to you offline. I don't want to play favorites on that one. But what you can do on this particular feature, this web page proxy server. So hypothetically, your site that that has got the installation has a point-to-point wireless system, has a NAS, has a managed switch, has access control with a web page, has anything on site that has a web page, you can now add that web page inside NX and have full control of it inside NX. So I'm just going to give out my deets now, just so we all know, because everyone keeps asking for it. My email is mharrison@networkoptix.com. M for Matt, Harrison, HARRISON, @networkoptix.com. I will, yeah, lots of people asking for my email. I thought everyone had my email, but it's all good. So on this particular feature here, the really amazing part about this is, because we're not port forwarding, we're not opening up any security issues or anything like that. But the really cool part about it is you don't even need to be on site to do it. You could be off-site, type in the local IP address, and it would still bring it up. It is an amazing feature. And for the people that we showed it to at ASIL, they couldn't believe that we were given the ability to be able to do this. So if you had a remote site and you wanted to be able to control their managed switch or anything like that, it's literally just a matter of going into NX, and you've got full control of that managed switch. And the first security questions come through from Glenn: how secure? It is the same security as using NX Witness, because we're not opening up any ports, we're just proxying into the web page that's already built into the system. So we're not actually port forwarding, and we're not doing anything like that. We're literally just using the NX server as a pathway through to that particular web page and giving you access to it offsite. So obviously only the admin and the owner of the system have access to this, but it is an amazing feature. And here it is. So Tony's who would normally be talking over this video. We both agree this is one of the coolest features that we've ever come up with. So eventually, after he finishes talking, he literally right-click on web pages, and that's just a standard web page. But what you can see here is putting car lift camera via web page, proxied to the server. And you can see there, he's basically brought it inside NX Witness. And you can bring in the whatever you wanted. The really cool thing about it is, it doesn't matter what the web page is. It literally doesn't matter. The web page can be anything you can think of. So the best examples of this, are saying before, we're doing some car EV changing station, EV charging stations. So, and they were worried about how much current they're going to be drawing and all these sorts of bits and pieces. So rather than having two separate portals running for their particular system, they're able to bring in the specific web page data of their EV charging stations inside NX. Any access to the server system, i.e. terminal Linux. So my little mates in New Zealand use a specific program that you could do that for. I'm just trying to remember what it's called. Cockpit. So you could use Cockpit, which would be able to bring it inside NX Witness. Cockpit. I know the web page can't use ActiveX because ActiveX doesn't actually exist anymore. So most new cameras these days are Chrome support. It's only the older ones that you still can't bring in. Well, you can bring in the actual web page for it, you just can't bring in the video from it. So like the Hike Vision ones as an example, you can still control the camera, you just can't see the video web page. Bringing in TeamViewer. Not sure why you'd want to. Yeah, I'm not sure why you'd want to bring in TeamViewer, because we're giving you access to pretty much everything that you're needing system control. No, because it's an app, it's not a web page. There'd have to be another way of doing that though. I'll actually, if you send me an email on that one, I'll get Ryan to come back to you with a solution for that. Ryan's pretty good at that sort of stuff. Resource grouping. So one of the big things, TeamViewer gives you a desktop experience. So resource grouping. So what this means is basically giving you the ability to create groups depending on what you're looking to do. So you could create a camera group, or you could create different streams or encoders or whatever you want to do. So only specific people can see those those specific groups. So the best example of this is we do a large convenience store place around Australia. So they would be able to create a camera group called just front doors and grab that from multiple servers. So it's basically giving you the ability to create those camera groups, of specific things, and then just drag them across and have specific answers off those. So another video on how this works. Similar to layout, but different. So you can see here, it's just showing which cameras and bits and pieces. Right click on it and then just create group. The same thing as everything with NX. We try to make this stuff as easy as we possibly can. It's really as simple as we possibly can. And if you didn't know, Tony, who does all our videos and bits and pieces, is actually a world-ranked axe thrower, which he loves to tell everyone. So you can see there, he's put it in as church cameras, and then he has the ability, he can just drag that straight in and create a specific group just on the cameras from his church. It's just a way to make the tree a bit easier to use for people, and then you could create a group. So if you're giving user access and stuff like that, they could only have access to church cameras as an example. And then you can move that from server to server, as you can see there. And as you can see with NX, we try to make the user experience as easy as we possibly can. So we don't get the questions coming through like, how do I do this? How do I do that? We try to make NX Witness the most user-friendly VMS that we possibly can. And that's really, taking everything else aside, one of the main reasons that people like us is that we make this stuff as easy as we possibly can. Audio mapping. This one specifically for our little, we designed specifically for our friends in blue. The police specifically asked for this one. So what this gives you the ability to do is if you've got audio coming from any source, the ability to add that audio to another camera. So you can actually overlay the audio from one source to multiple cameras rather than just having it going into one. And then having a two-way audio button placed on the camera to give you the ability to obviously to have two-way audio. So obviously, the best scenario of this is you've got. Actually, I'm just going to use the example that we're using it for first. So police have a a vehicle, hypothetically, not hypothetically, and has a NX recording server on it with 4 cameras. There's one microphone built into the camera to record what's going on around. You can attach that audio microphone to each of the 4 cameras. So that way, when you're doing playback, that audio is synced to all 4 cameras rather than just one. It's just another way to make things nice and easy for well, for anyone really. And here's Tony again, showing how it works. It's not a feature that everyone's going to use because most places are not allowed to use audio, but the feature's there nonetheless. All right, so enable audio, enable two-way audio. This camera does not have an audio output or is configured. So basically, he can click on a different camera and enable two-way audio from that camera. So that camera doesn't have two-way audio, but he can enable two-way audio to come through the speakers of another specific camera. And then he can do audio, oi, go away, that sort of stuff. It's a great little feature that we're quite happy about. Like I said, it was a specific feature request that came through from our friends in blue. Actually, a lot of them wear black now, but usable nonetheless. So one of the things that's been coming up a fair bit lately is the ability to grab more information and share more information. So inside the web page itself, you basically have the ability to add users, remove users, as well as a bit more detailed information about what's going on with the specific servers inside themselves. So this is more to do with places now that are not allowing us to use the client. We're doing up our web-based client to make it more user-friendly, so people can use NX Witness and as many features of it as we can without using the client. Now the client's always going to be better because we're a client-based software at the moment. So if you can use a client, it's always going to be better, and it just is better. But we're making the web admin as good as we possibly can without going too silly. So you can see there inside the web admin, when we get to it, you can see there I can go into settings, I can go into information, I can go into the licenses, I can go into users, I can get all the APIs, I can get all those sorts of things. That's all what's built into our web page as it is. But under settings, you can now go into users and you can go into see how the cameras are doing, see what the servers are running at, and a bit more control of the actual system itself. Like I said, this is specifically for people that are just not allowed to install client software, which is actually becoming more prevalent, which is why we're spending a bit of time making our web client better. Any questions on that at all? No. Excellent. All right, so instant playback. This was mostly to do with access control. So access control platforms were asking us to be able to do playback as fast as possible. So if there's a door opened or whatever, there's an alarm event, and you wanted to send video verification through to control rooms and that sort of stuff, having to wait the minute to do it was just too long. So what we were able to do is get the playback down to just a few, seconds. Now, the really cool part about this was we were able to do this without having to change the power output. Web client restricted to H.264 streaming. No, it's not. No, it's definitely not, because at one of the sites we're doing it, they're using H.265. So if you look on this one here, on the video, when it plays, so he'll zoom into one of the cameras in a second and show you that you can do instant playback. So previously, when we were doing playback, you couldn't do playback from the last minute. And that was a huge drawback to us when you had access control and video verification, that sort of stuff, because you're having to wait that minute was just too long. So having the ability to do instant playback from the last couple of seconds just opens up so many more doors to us. So as an example, Gallagher wouldn't do an integration with us until we had this instant playback. So at ASIAL this year, they launched the integration with us with that instant playback. Are we able to email the footage, for example, for a forced or to a monitoring station? Yes. So also at ASIAL, we launched Permacon integration. So any site that, if you wanted to do, video verification, if it is a Permacon control station, they can now take video verification from NX Witness. You just need a PM54 dialer, I think they're called, and away you go. It's just a drop-down box inside the Permacon unit, and you can have visual verification through to a control center. It was a pretty amazing integration done by Permacon, I must say. But so yeah, the ability to do emailing of events, is it only for Permacon, any compatible with coming from IRT T4000? I have not spoken to InnerRange about going to theirs at all. The very first, we only just got this feature, so Permacon reached out to us specifically about doing it about a year ago, and they did this one specifically on their own. So I'm happy to have that conversation with InnerRange if they want to do it as well. Server location for failover allows system administrators to assign a location ID to servers in multi-server WAN-based systems. So obviously this is not really useful for LAN. This allows operators to define a server or pool of servers that are physically located near the cameras as a failover service to prevent failover to remote servers. So what this specifically means is if you had servers in, you've got 5 servers in a system. So rather than a camera having to fail over to a server that's 20 kilometers away, it will fail over to the closest one. So basically, you're designating out where you want, what order you want stuff to fail over to. It's just another way to make stuff a bit more user-friendly. And with people now putting servers at remote sites, and also camera as a server becoming more prevalent, giving the ability to control those sorts of things as well. How it works. We'll just fast forward to there. So you can see here, he's given this particular server a location ID of 1. He gives the next one server like, yep, apply. Need to always make sure you hit apply, people. So basically anything with a camera ID locating towards that will automatically fail over to that specific server. Just makes it nice and simple and easy as far as setting up failover. Once again, this is more to do with places that have lots of servers and bits and pieces like that. Enhanced fisheye dewarping. As you can see there, we think our dewarping is pretty cool. I personally think it's the best on the market. But what it's giving you the ability to do, if a camera is not mounted exact vertical or horizontal position, users can adjust the mounting angle and make it look like it's a projection of going forward, as you can see there. It's a really cool feature, and it should be more widely used over the next as we're going forward. So shops where they're using fisheyes and bits and pieces, you can see there that it's dewarped it into a specific region straight away as soon as they've hit the dewarping button. So fisheye there, 360 equilateral, and you can see there it's basically brought it up into a specific view straight away. It's a really cool little feature just to make fisheyes more useful once again. Desktop client automatic updates. So what this is if you're connected to the internet, obviously, rather than having to wait for updates and being looking for them and being notified that they're around, you can automatically just have an update to the latest version as soon as it's available. Yeah, so we're also doing things in a future updates where you'll be able to push out updates from the server. That will be in version 5.1 or maybe 5.2. So rather than having to download them, you can actually put them in the central server and push them out to all the users as well. And you can disable this feature. It's an optional one, not a forced one. Cybersecurity measures. Yep. So with this particular, hang on 2 seconds. What is that? Not my food. Two-factor authentication. Now, just need to make sure you understand this is for cloud users only. And basically, system-wide setting that forces all users with cloud accounts to use an authentication app. Could be Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, or Duo Mobile. So this is just built in. Basically, you just go into the cloud settings, go into settings here, and it's just mandatory two-factor authentication. Like it's not particularly difficult to set up and how it works. So as I said, navigate to the cloud portal, which is here, log in. Two-factor authentication, enter a password to make sure it's actually what you want to do, and then scan that. Like it's once again pretty simple and easy to do. Enter the verification code generated by your two-factor authentication and verify. Tony can't type. And you can see here, there are systems on that particular site that are not running 5.0. This only works with 5.0. So you need to make sure you update all those to 5.0 before the two-factor authentication will actually work. Log into NX Cloud, and you can see there, next time he logs in, he needed to use his two-factor authentication. It's a nifty feature, and one that the security conscious customers that we have been asking us to do for a fairly long time. Questions just come in from Tin Figgins. We use LDAP heats for our installs. No two-factor authentication for local authority is a bit of a stink. Is it going to come? Yes, it is going to come on a future update. At this point, I'll say that will be 5.2, which will also include single sign-on. So 5.2, at this stage, we're looking at June. So 5.1, we're looking at January. 5.2 will have that feature in it. As with always, any of your NX Witness license, any NX Witness license, just free updates. So if they've already got the system, there's nothing they need to do. They just hit update, and that feature will be available to them. Encrypted Archives. So this was actually another one that came from our discussions with police. We were designing in conjunction with them some specific servers, and then they said, "Oh, we'd really like to have some more encryption on there, please." And they wanted to do it themselves, which was going to screw up our calculators. So we just did it ourselves. We just had a question come in. Adding a user between admin and advanced that can add users, etc., without full system configuration ability. Nah, we don't have one in between. It's an interesting question though, Glenn. I'll get back to you on that one. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one, Glenn, okay? So basically it works on any hard drive or storage medium. System owner creates the encryption key. So when enabled, recorded video archives will be encrypted and viewable only in desktop, mobile, and web clients. So as you can see here, the encryption password will be required to restore the archive on another system. So if you are, hang on, sorry, my mouse isn't working. I was going to show you. Obviously, he talks a lot. That's leading in. It's Tony. If you've ever met him, he talks a lot. So inside NX Witness is showing you the media here as it currently stands. So you can actually go into the folders, and it's in a lot of folders. And you can actually, if you had access to it, you could just play the video just like that. So that's how it used to work. So what we've done is just going to show you once he gets around to actually doing it. Going to system administration, security, archive encryption. Now you need to put a password in, which you create yourself. We don't create that for you, so don't lose it. As I mentioned before, Tony can't type. Hit OK. Apply as always. Always remember hit apply. So what he's just showing you there is it's not affecting the RAM or anything without actually putting up any more power. Away we go, nice and easy. And when we go back into our thing to try and find that video, it's just got to find that specific one. Goes to hit playback. And the video is encrypted. So, but it's 128 encryption. You know, yeah, we think it's a pretty cool feature. Any questions on that one? Does it encrypt the audio as well? Yes. Specifically done for you guys, Francisco. That was literally, that's 100% true as well, just so you guys didn't have to put your own software on top of ours. More secured connections. All VMS server client connections use SSL TSL certificate pinning to render man-in-the-middle attacks impossible. VMS servers and clients also use the session-based bearer token authentication by default. So once again, we're just making it more secure for you to be able to get into, to be able to use NX Witness going forward. Notable improvements, we updated the user manual. I have an updated user manual for any of you that wants it. Resource tree loads quicker for larger systems. Web client playback, which is what I'm saying. We're trying to get our web client better and better and better as we're going along. New JavaScript API, that's specifically so people can do things like better maps into NX and stuff like that. Improve HTTPS support for cameras. So if you want to use the HTTPS from the camera, it's just a matter of clicking the button and away you go. And that kept audio sync. Yes, we've kept audio sync. Love that in current versions. Yeah, it's a bloody good feature, audio sync. That is it, gentlemen. And I think there's a couple of ladies on here as well. I shouldn't have said that. Are there any more questions? So my email is mharrison@networkoptix.com. If you have any questions after this webinar, please send them through and we'll, my name's Matt, just so I know, M-A-T. So yeah, send me an email on any questions, anything that you have, and we'll have this webinar available probably in a week or so on our website for anyone to go through it again. Watch whatever you want. All the videos are available on YouTube, available from just our normal NX channel and away there. David Besson's in. I love David Besson. He's good people. Used to live and work at a great place called Murray Bridge. Hi, Kelly. So yeah, any questions that you have, thanks for question. I have a few offline questions. I'll email you through. Email me any questions you've got and I'll email them as quickly as I can. With version 2, there was going to be training. So yes, we will be launching a full training program very, very shortly, which will be run by Ryan out of Brisbane. We're looking to launch that in probably October, where we'll have we'll have like you'll still be able to do your online training for your basic stuff, but a certified training program will be coming out shortly. That will be run through whatever distributor, and Ryan was flying around and do that training for everyone. Any questions on anything else, just let me know. I've just got my first email through already. You guys are quick. So yeah, any like I said, any questions you have, feel free to send them out. No, so there's a Linux program called Cockpit, COCKPIT, which allows you to do control of Linux systems offsite. I actually did a webinar previously on that. So my little mate in New Zealand, we did a webinar on the Linux that he'd made, where he actually makes his own specific version of Linux for NX, and he uses Cockpit as a control program for offsite. It's really good. All right, there doesn't appear to be any more questions. So thank you for your time today, guys. Have a great day, and I hope to hear from you all soon. Our webinar will be available in about 1 week online, just on our my.networkoptics.com, where you download and get all your information on NX. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll talk to you all soon.